yo, yo!
Hello!
Hello!
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
This is a very exciting morning. I'm Ariel Wengroff. I'm our VP of Communications.
And I'm Carl Anderson, VP of Consumer Engineering.
And this is day 2 of Ledger Open. But we could really say it's day 1 in terms of the fact that today is all about developers. And we're so excited to be here in the hometown of Paris. Thank you also to everyone who is live streaming from Twitter. Yesterday, actually, during day 1, we had over 1 million people tune in, which is pretty extraordinary in over 200 countries around the world. Just so proud. What's amazing, too, is yesterday we finally got to reveal what could be considered our big secret, which is the Ledger Stacks unveiling, our latest product, invented by the iPod and Nest inventor, Tony Fadell. And this is an amazing moment coming together because when we build with developers and we make a secure ecosystem, we're providing something that the entire community can use. And so yesterday was very special, and I think let's show a recap for those who missed it about
definitely.
Ledger Stacks.
Ledger Stacks, people.
Amazing. I get chills when I see that because, you know, we had Pascal yesterday speaking about Ledger and how we've been pushing our mission for over 7 years. Ian, our Chief Experience Officer, talking about how we bring that to life through culture. And then, you know, Tony about how we made it, but then Charles, who you'll get to hear from as well, about this secure element that really is the core of Ledger. So having that come to this morning, which is the Developer Day, is a very great moment for us.
Yep. And as you said, today is the Developer Day. So we talked about the product announcement, our big secret, as you said.
Yes.
Now it's now out. Now today is about building upon it, but it doesn't stop there. We got plenty other layers within our tech stack, and we're going to go through all of these today. We're going to start today with a talk from our CTO, Charles Guillemet, who's going to walk you through this platform. Then we're literally going to go in every layer, starting with how to build on stacks and our nanos, how to integrate your blockchain to Ledger Live, how to build a dApp on top of Ledger. But it doesn't stop there because we also released and announced earlier this year Ledger Connect, our Safari extension that protects you when you're browsing Web3 and doing your transactions live with those dApps. And we got some cool updates from Vincent Salaman, product manager, today. We're also going to talk about Ledger Enterprise, which is our best-kept secret.
Our other best-kept secret.
As well, because all that we're doing for consumers, we're also doing it for enterprise. And we're going to end the day by a fantastic talk from Nicolas Bacca, one of the co-founders of Ledger. We're going to walk you through what the innovation team that he is leading has been working on today. But it doesn't stop there as well.
Yes,
we also have an afternoon,
We have an afternoon. So you have these great developer panels this morning. We also have demos going on in the foyer outside of this for those of you who are here today. So you can interact with Ledger Stacks, but then you can actually experience building on Stacks and within the Ledger layer ecosystem that Carl was just mentioning. Then this afternoon, we have some really great panels. You know, Ledger sits at that intersection of culture and technology. So people that typically you wouldn't see on stage together or that you haven't heard from a while, like Alex Arnaud from LVMH, all the way to, you know, fuck render, to everything you could imagine in between that sentence, right? So we're excited for it, and please stick around, stay tuned, ask questions. This is a really exciting moment. This is an incredible showing, everything going on in the world. You're all here today, and we're so grateful for that.
Let's dive into tech. So we're going to start the day with our CTO, Charles Guillemet.
Woo!
There you go.
Hello, good morning, everyone. It's good to see a full room of techie guys and girls. I'm Charles Guillemet, CTO at Ledger. My background is cryptography and security, and I joined Ledger 5 years ago. I can say that I'm officially an OG now. Last year, my keynote was about the importance of security in crypto, and since then, what a year. Maybe let's start with a quick survey. Who, during last year, lost some crypto? Raise your hand. Okay, not that bad. Sorry for your loss. Yeah, what a year. 2022 was a violent recall to the purpose of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies. Mika was an attempt to restrict cryptocurrency freedom. Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, FTX showed us the importance of self-custody. Self-custody has never been that as important as today. Tornado Cash. This case was a clear attack against privacy. Only 1 year has passed, and yet it was a strong reminder of the purpose of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. The purpose of cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies is to provide a more free and fair economical system. Their purpose is to provide an option against censorship. Their purpose is to provide an option for storing value without having to trust banks and governments. Their purpose is to give back the power to the users. These values are important to me. These values are important to us. They are the foundation of the Web3 revolution. And they are only enabled by self-custody. Self-custody means you are in control. You are in control of what is valuable for you, whether it is money, identity, art. Security is a strong requirement for self-custody. Ledger is a strong requirement for self-custody. This is the mission of Ledger. We worked hard to provide the security layer, enabling users to be in control when interacting with digital assets and protocol. Building secure products is great, but building very secure products that no one uses because of bad UX is useless. You do not solve any problem. That's why we built Ledger Stacks, a new Ledger device unveiled yesterday that drastically improves usability while never compromising with security. On top of this security layer, we built platforms for developers to build experiences. When I discuss with developers in our ecosystem, I'm very bullish about the Web3 revolution. The most talented developers, the most brilliant researchers work on blockchain technologies. I've never been as bullish as I am today. A few weeks ago, we met some of the developers working with Ledger at our production factory in the middle of France in Vierzon. We spent 2 days building together, and I personally think that was an amazing experience. I met so many talented people there. What great energy. But I won't say much about that, as Carl will tell you everything about this in a few minutes. What I want to do, what we want to do, is to provide builders secure platforms to build on top of Ledger. I believe in open source. I believe in open platform. I often say that our end users are developers. Let's have a look at these platforms. As a developer, you can build on top of Ledger in several different ways. First, we have a C SDK allowing you to write your own app. Today, we have more than 150 currency apps, and 98% of them have been written by the community. I think our biggest contributor is Zondax, who are in the room, and will even come soon on stage. And we love to work with Juan Lenny and the team. Big up to him if he's around. We also have SDK in Rust, but for now it lacks a little bit of documentation. We know that, and an effort is ongoing to improve this. Second, another aspect of our platform is the wallet API. The principle is to provide a web view rendering within Ledger Live with some specific API in order to talk directly with the device. And if you are a dApp developer, this integration is very straightforward. The main requirement for this is to have a clear signing on the device. And we have already integrated 28 live apps, and we have more than 30 in the work. I think the first one to have been integrated within the dApp browser is our friends from Paraswap. Maybe they are in the room. I don't know. Raise your hand, Paraswap. Okay, can't see in your hand. Okay. Third, Ledger Live and our devices have one of the best blockchain support. As of today, we support 39 blockchain in Ledger Live, countless number of tokens and NFT with a great UI and end-to-end security provided by the device. Most of them have been integrated internally. That was a heavy lifting work, and we had a lot of requests from the community, from users, to integrate a new project or another. So that's why we decided to open our stack quite recently. And since then, 9 chains have been integrated externally by you guys. 4, it's also possible to use Ledger Nano and soon Ledger Stacks outside of Ledger Live. And as of today, we have more than 200 applications, including dApps, exchanges, software wallets, which integrated our Ledger devices in their stack, bringing our security to their product. These are all the different entry points for you, developers, to build on top of Ledger platforms. And today is not about telling you how to do it. You can join our live demo later to do so. It is about showing you what we could build together, what the great product we did and are doing, and why. So let's start right now. I'll call Ledger VP Engineering on stage to show you what we did during the Ledger Open Developer Experience in Vierzon, Carl Anderson.
And it's me again. We're going to need just a few seconds of time for the staff to set up these tools, because this one's going to be a bit of a fireside chat and informal conversation. So as Charles said, we actually have a factory in Vierzon. Do you know where Vierzon is in France? Yeah? We have a map showing for those of you that don't know. It's right in the middle of France, and it's really the heart of Ledger, because this is where we have what we call the Ledgerplex. That's our factory. That's where we're building our devices and shipping them worldwide. And so a few weeks ago, we organized an event which we call the Ledger Developer Experience, where we actually invited partners and developers to come, as well as our tech teams, all in the Ledgerplex, to start building together. There you go. So this actually, what you're seeing here is the Ledgerplex in the middle of Vierzon. And in the factory, during those 2 days, we had 55 developers, roughly, attendees, building all together. And that was 16 partners, which you see on the screen right there. So you can see it's really diverse. You got exchanges, protocols, builders from all different, really representative of our Web3 ecosystem. But rather than me talking about this, let's see a quick video so that you get a piece and a taste as to how were the few days together. This is the very first time that we're receiving a group of external people in Vierzon. It is the heart of Ledger, so we're welcoming you in our heart. If you're here in this room, it's because we already have a connection somehow. We're already building together, we're already partners. And you were handpicked by our teams to build in the next 2 days. What the goal of these 2 days are to team up, because we're better together, right? So we're all here to build, we get out with a working prototype. Here, we're in the factory to build and have fun. Because we're better together. All right. And we had a lot of fun, definitely. A lot was built, and actually on stage, we're going to see, I'm going to welcome on stage two partners that were there in Vierzon to tell you about their experience. So I'd like to welcome on stage Juan Lenny, as well as David Princet from Zondax and Binance. Welcome. Welcome, guys. So Juan, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know what Zondax is building?
Sure. So in the last couple of years, or actually 3, we have been building a large amount of the integrations and the apps that go inside Ledger. So if you are using like coins like Polkadot, Filecoin, Tezos, or like a large amount of these kind of like top projects, typically you are using an app that Zondax wrote. So that's it. And we have been like kind of like in a way part of the Ledger family behind the scenes for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, this is a great point that you're making. A lot of people don't know that it's an open platform, and yes, we're building the OS Ledger, but it's an open, and anyone can actually integrate and build an application on top of our hardware wallets. And you've been doing that for years, so thank you very much. Yeah. David?
Bonjour Carl, and bonjour everyone. So I'm David, I'm representing Binance, and I have this duty to represent this large, awesome team. A lot has been built in 2 days in Vierzon. We worked with you on Binance Connect, and happily, excuse me, guys, sorry. And happily, we can announce that through all the model of Ledger now and via Binance Live, you can directly access to Binance, buy, sell your crypto from your ledger, which represents the best in class in security and self-custody and the best in class in trading experience.
Okay, so we can see that we have different layers because you're working at the hardware wallet layer when you guys were working at, that was in Ledger Live, and so you built a live app in there. Fantastic. I think you have more plans for next year. I heard that BNB builders are up to quite a bit.
Exactly, it's step 1. Like we get to know each other, we get to understand how the software is working and what we can do with that. Next step will be the BNB chain ecosystem and environment, which the apps and protocols that you all know, Venus and other elements that we are going to get close to the Ledger ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. And during those 2 days in Vierzon, actually, the guys were working on the Venus integration. So that was actually really cool to see that come to life. What about you, Juan? Any plans for next year?
Well, definitely we're like super excited about the new device. So, I mean, most of the projects that we work with, and we have like some kind of like relation or maintenance contract with them, we are going to be upgrading that immediately, like when you launch. Yeah. And we are in a way kind of like also exploring other opportunities, like the way Ledger also in the product space in other areas like data. So yeah, it's going to be kind of an interesting year, especially when self-custody is going to be more and more important, or at least it's kind of like going more into the people's mindset this year.
Yeah, it's always important. It's just a matter of awareness. So you mentioned that you were working with Stacks. Did you get your hands on it already?
I cannot confirm that, but there have been some like work going on already. So yeah, it's a really, really nice platform, like a lot of new opportunities. Actually, we're looking forward to kind of innovate and see how that will evolve like over the years, because this is kind of like a breakthrough, in my opinion. And yeah, it's a really nice platform. So I cannot confirm, but maybe.
Okay. Cool. And from the Binance side perspective, I know we're super happy to have you on the platform, and I think Ledger and Binance really make a great team. From our experience, and what we want to achieve is really allow Ledger users to get the best of Web3, and obviously Binance is part of it. Any plans to go further in this integration, or?
It was really the discovery phase for us in Vierzon, and we get to know how to integrate and to see. So there's many possibility inside the Ledger app, and inside also the Ledger hardware. We saw that there is a need of self-custody from our user, and we educate strongly about this. But and we see that basically we can get close. As long as Binance, all the BNB chain ecosystem, but also our applications such as Trust Wallet, etc. So a lot are going to come in the coming weeks and in the coming months, and it's going to be a step-by-step process.
Oh, teasing! I like that. All right, so this is some more to come.
Definitely.
All right. Anything else? All good?
I can keep talking for a while, but I think like the event and the day is going to be full of more news and like nice.
Absolutely. And again, it doesn't end there. If you guys want to meet David or Juan, you can do that in the foyer historique behind. We have demo tables where you can dive into the tech. And actually, part of the Vierzon experience, the Zondax team was actually mentoring a lot of different teams because thanks to all the experience that you have building on a platform.
In a way, I think that once security is a kind of given, then we need to start like moving more and more to our user experience. That I think that is what Ledger and the new product is moving towards too. So yeah, we were like kind of trying to talk to other teams, like innovate a bit, think of new ideas. And now I think the next year is going to be like how we can use stacks in a kind of like different way apart from the standard kind of like use case. Right?
Fantastic. Sounds great. All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for being with
Carl.
us. Again, if you want to talk more with David and Juan, they're going to be in the foyer historique at our the demo booth.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Amazing conversation, and I have to say, as someone that is here right at Ledger, you would think that all of these things you've heard a million times before. But then you hear it again and you get to see everyone's reaction, and it's really powerful to be able to hear Charles talk about this transition for Ledger and then this panel just now. I'm really excited though to bring on stage Fabrice from Ledger. I think this is going to be a really important next layer for developers. Whenever we internally at Ledger have a question about how we best work with developers, we turn to Fabrice. He's sort of that in-between translator, and so I'm excited for him to be on here and talk about how you actually build on Ledger Stacks with some other folks from the team. So come on up.
Bonjour. Hello, everyone. Very happy to see a room full of people today. We are going to have an amazing talk about how to build on Ledger Stacks. And for this talk, I'd like to invite on stage my three amazing co-workers, Raphaël Gélin, Nafissatou Ndiaye, and Christopher Carlson, to join me. All right. Okay, so like I was saying, the talk of today is about how to build on Ledger Stacks. We actually received already quite a few questions on Discord, on Twitter, about many people wondering, okay, will my application be supported? And of course, we'll be covering all of this in this panel. Just before we start, I'm Fabrice Dautria. I'm leading the developer ecosystem team at Ledger. And I'll introduce briefly my coworkers today, the amazing panelists that we have. So on my left, he leads the embedded software team at Ledger, Raphaël Gélin. Raphaël knows everything about the underlying mechanics of the hardware wallet, operating system, SDKs, libraries, and application. So thank you, Raphaël. In the middle, the amazing Nafissatou Ndiaye, product manager. She's the product manager, embedded application. She's in charge of the entire catalog of applications that I'm guessing some of you are using today with Ledger devices. And finally, our product director NFTs, Christopher Carlson. Chris will explain a bit how NFTs were always on Ledger mind when we designed Ledger Stacks, and what new use cases are being unlocked, both for NFT holders and developers. Okay, so guys, let's jump right into the topic. But before we go straight into the technicalities and the processes, Raphael, maybe one question for you. I'd like for you to remind everyone, because maybe not all the people here were there yesterday, but to remind everyone, what are the main differences between Ledger Stacks and the previous generations of hardware wallet?
Yes, hello everyone. In order to answer your question, Fabrice, maybe we can discuss a little bit about the similarities before talking about the differences. So the similarities between the Nanoline and the Stacks product are mainly consisting in the same security architecture. Our CTO, Charles Guillemet, reminded us about that yesterday, if you didn't see it. So we rely on the same security architecture, and in particular, the same secure elements that we have in the Nano S Plus, on top of which we have the same core of operating system that we have on our Nanoline. The main differences, as we saw yesterday, mainly consist in a new form factor with a new screen, and my team has been working on designing a new graphics engine along with the product team, the design, and lots of other teams, so that we can launch this product pretty soon. So this is going to have an impact on developing applications. Maybe we can talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah, surely we'll be discussing this. So in short, same level of security, but improved user experience thanks to this new form factor and graphics.
Exactly.
Okay. Maybe next, Nafissatou, a question for you. You told me that we have more than 150 applications today available on Ledger Nano S Plus and Ledger Nano X. So the first question I have is, how do you explain that Ledger has such an extensive coverage?
Bonjour everyone. Fabrice, to answer your question, we have this high coverage because Ledger is open. As of today, 95% of all the applications that are available on our catalog have been developed externally. All the resources needed to build an embedded application are open source. Anyone can access them and start to build. So at Ledger, we really value this. We're working with a lot of communities and foundations to make sure that we have them offer self-custody to the users.
Okay. So yes, everything is open source. And one of the top questions that I saw on Discord and Twitter is, will my application be supported on Ledger Stacks? So can you tell us a bit more about the actual coverage that users can expect when we ship the first product?
Yes, sure. There will be no When My App for Ledger Stacks. So the embedded software team and our partners will work on porting all the existing applications, so they'll be available at launch. And regarding the decentralized application and services, they'll be able also to have the Connect with Ledger option available. So no worries, everything, all the application will be available and will be safe.
Okay, so people, you should be aware that there is absolutely no problem. Your application will be migrated in time for when you want to use the new product. Again, for you, Nafissatou, maybe a last question. What about new applications, new protocols, new dApps that are not already available? What is the process? Is it different from the previous generation? What is Ledger actually doing when an external team is pushing a code for us to review?
For Ledger Stacks, the development and the integration process will be the same as for our Nano line. As of today, if you want to build an application, the first thing you should do is to go on our Discord server so that you can connect with us. We'll be able to discuss on the integration. And we will recommend you to go on our developer portal where you'll be able to find all the resources you need to build your embedded application. Starting from how to build your application, how to set up your environment, how to use our SDK, our boilerplate to get you started. You will also have access to an emulator so that you can check and see how the application will look like. And when you'll be done building your application, you will just have to submit it to us, and we're going to review it. We're going to check the user experience, making sure that it's great. We will verify that what you see is what you sign. And we will also check it security-wise. The Donjon team will perform an audit, and we'll make sure that it's safe to use for everyone. And once all those checks are done, your application will be ready, and we will release it on the My Ledger section of Ledger Live.
Okay, thank you, Nafi. That's really insightful. So if you want to know more or check the process, developers.ledger.com is definitely the place to go. You'll find everything very detailed there. Maybe we can discuss a bit more about the technical architecture. What are the differences between the Ledger Nano S Plus, the Ledger Nano X, and Ledger Stacks? How does it impact the actual development? Rafael, this one is for you. I guess you're the only one here that can actually explain this.
Yes, in order to answer this question, maybe two pieces of information. First, we are soon going to have a single SDK, whatever is the platform, whatever is the product you want to build your application on. But of course, there are some differences, the main of which is going to be the graphics on Ledger Stacks. And for that, second piece of information, at Ledger, we've been working with the product and design team on a design system so that all the applications can have the same graphical coherency. And this is going to be easily enforced by using the new graphics API located in the SDK so that it's possible to easily place elements on the screen and simply add whatever text, information, or buttons you want on that. So basically, it's going to be easy to port applications which already exist on the Nano line. And as a matter of fact, engineers in my team are doing that right now, for weeks now. And even though Juan didn't confirm, maybe we were working with the Zondax team for the past few weeks on that as well. If you want, and if you are in Paris, we can discuss that this afternoon in the associated workshop so that we can show you what it looks like.
Okay, so I hear there are some leaks here, but okay, yeah, definitely at the foyer behind us, the entire team is here. Some of the engineers Rafael was mentioning will be here as well, so if you have more questions about the SDKs, the operating system, and how to actually migrate an app, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, Rafael. Christopher, I didn't forget about you. So with this new device, okay, new use cases are now being unlocked. And I'd like you to maybe walk us through, the process and the reflection that Ledger actually had when designing Ledger Stacks, and what did you actually build or made available to NFT holders and especially developers, because I hear there are some new stuff coming on.
Yeah, so you see now on the screen a demo of what the experience looks like for placing an NFT that you own on the Ledger Stacks. And as you notice, this amazing Jen Stark artwork is a square, and it's colored. But then when it gets to the Nano, to the Stacks, which is the size of a credit card, which has an e-ink display, it looks a little different. And so, this experience of having your NFTs on the Stacks was a key element to really make it a device that's unique and something that is enjoyable and bring joy to you as you have it. It's an always on display, so it makes sense that you'd want to showcase something that you love and that you own. Now, from a developer standpoint, some of these product decisions that went into the actual device make limitations on what can be seen. It needs to be static. It needs to be black and white. It's this specific aspect ratio. And so we realized that, not all NFTs out of the box are going to look great on it. And so we thought through this. And what we came up with is that we want creators and developers who are building applications for NFT creators to extend their metadata of their NFTs and include in the metadata a second image if they want. So really simply, we just have in our developer docs, if you go to developers.ledger.com, and today if you search for metadata, the articles will come up. They're getting added into the navigation soon, but you can find them through the search. We've outlined how you can add this additional metadata to your NFTs. And so if you're a developer that's building applications, you could quite simply enable your users to start to supply this alternative image for the stacks, and have the best user experience possible. On top of that, for creators, for those that are here today, in addition to developers building for this, we've also actually built our own application. If you don't have the technical capability to update your metadata, or if your NFTs are immutable, which many are and should be, then we've built an application where you can supply these secondary images directly to us. We'll store them on our servers, and then we'll have them displayed on the Ledger Stack. So we're really excited about this, and if this piques your interest, you're curious about it, happy to talk more about it outside.
Thank you, Chris. So I guess we covered a lot of topic today, and for those of you who want to know more or deep dive into any of these specific topics that we were discussing, really feel free to reach out to us physically if you're here. If you're not here, really Discord is the place to go. You'll find the link to access our Discord directly on the developer portal, so that's really the entry point for you to join the Ledger ecosystem. So developers.ledger.com, and I'd like to thank you all three for coming today and participating in this panel. Thank you very much, and thank you all. And next, Carl.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much. High five, high five. No, I don't need a mic. Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed this panel. I certainly did. So I think the key takeaways really is it's the same API as the Nano, same system, and it just has extra UI capabilities. And as an NFT creator or as a developer in the NFT space, I can actually complement with extra metadata so I can make use of that screen. So that was at the hardware wallet layer. Now we're going to go up a layer. And that next layer is Ledger Live. We got two things that you can do as a developer there. Integrate your protocol and build Ledger Live applications. To speak about this, I'd like to welcome on stage Roman Bellon-Grattaroli, who's going to walk you through integrating blockchain.
Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a great conference so far and that you're excited about stacks, because I am. My name is Roman Bellon-Grattaroli, and I'm a blockchain product manager at Ledger. I've been in the crypto ecosystem for the past 7 years, and the least I can say is that it was a hell of a ride, bringing excitement, joy, limitless learnings, but also a lot of challenges. And today, I want to share with you one of the biggest challenges of my team: identifying and integrating one of the next big innovations when it comes to blockchain protocol. But the question you might ask could be, but why? Why is integrating and identifying the next big innovation such a challenge nowadays? Well, let's first have a look in the past. So, this is where it all started. In 2014, when Ledger was created. As you can see in this picture, at that time, there was not that much to look at. Bitcoin, the king in his tower, was the unique master of its land, making the blockchain integration topic quite easy to tackle. However, the sky was wide open for innovators to come and build nearby. A few years later, in 2020, the landscape drastically changed. Ethereum and other smart contract platforms changed the game forever and brought unlimited innovations. New skyscrapers were erected and grew, forming new districts, such as the DeFi Town Hall, or the NFT Art Center, or the stablecoin Githo, and so on. All these districts innovating all together and intrinsically connected. The innovation pace was increasing, and my team daily challenge was to keep up with it. And now, here we are in 2022 with new blockchain protocol layers. Layer 1, Layer 2, Layer 3. The Ethereum scaling war is ongoing and paving the way for even more extreme innovations. So, looking back at 2014, who could have anticipated such an amazing transformation? You, perhaps? Are you? Well, if you did, please come talk to me at the end of this conference because we definitely want to hire you. Let's now take a step into the future, what I call the big unknown. What will be the next big thing? What direction will the market take? What will be the most exciting technologies of the coming months, years, or decades? Well, nobody knows. And at Ledger, even if we can make assumptions, we do not know. However, with our platform model, Ledger being open, we welcome innovation. We welcome the builders' innovations. We welcome your innovation. And Ledger will always be at your side. Because if there is one thing that we do know with certainty, one thing, it's the fact that this future won't be without Ledger. This future won't be without our commitments and efforts to keep building the security foundation for your blockchain and for your users. These blockchains, these protocols, they made their decisions. They made the decision. They chose Ledger security for their blockchain and for their users by integrating their protocol to Ledger Live. Now, the big question is, what are you waiting for? If you are still hesitating, if you still wonder why integrating your blockchain to Ledger Live should be a key component of your roadmap, please come talk to me and my team at the booth, and we'll answer all your questions. Now, let's get back to our commitments. I told you Ledger was committed, but what are these commitments? The first one is, of course, true self-custody. Please let your users the opportunity to choose Ledger over the next FTX. The second one is best-in-class user experience. We are committed to keep building the best wallet experience for your users. And the last one is an integration framework for easy and simple Ledger Live integration. No more headaches building your own wallet. Ledger got your back. So, now it's time to choose the best for your protocol. Now it's the time to choose Ledger. And as final words, now it's time for me to tell you thank you for the great innovation we are going to build together. Thank you. So, now that your blockchain is integrated with our hardware devices and on Ledger Live, you unlocked the next level, live app integration. And who's best to talk about this than my friend Adrien Lacombe?
Hi everyone. As Roman said, my name is Adrien, and my job at Ledger is to work with all the partners who want to get their app integrated into Ledger Live. And because of that job, I also have another one at Ledger, which is a product owner. And I work in this amazing squad called the Wallet API that builds the tools that you guys will use to integrate with Ledger Live. So let me remind you first why you should care about having your app in Ledger Live. Now you know Ledger is a security firm. This is what we do. This is what we sell. This is what we are best at. So how are we going to bring more security to the ecosystem together? This is what we call clear signing. I'm sure you have heard of it already, but we need to repeat it again and again. You might have heard as well, what you see is what you sign. This is, the heart. The only display that you need to trust is your ledger. It's not your mobile. It's not your desktop. Only trust what your ledger is displaying. And I will come back to how we achieve that together. Then, of course, we sold almost 6 million devices. So if you want to tap into our user base, feel free to work with us, especially if you are a new protocol. You want maybe to gain from that visibility that you would get. And finally, once again with this amazing squad, we are trying to build tools which makes your life easier. And I'll give you some example of how we achieve that. I would like to thank you, all the partners I've been working with this past year, 2022. We bring more use cases into the Discover section of Ledger Live. I will name a few. DEX aggregators, 1-inch and Paraswap, borrowing and lending protocol with Alchemy, on-ramps with Binance and BTC Direct, liquid staking with Lido, and even native staking on ETH with Kiln very recently. So you see a lot of use cases, but there is always more use cases in crypto to bring. We also like competition. So if we have a bit more provider, providing options to our user, this is great for us. So yeah, thank you everyone. If you work with us, thank you. And what I want to discuss now is what's coming next, because we have integrated a lot of partners in 2022, and now we need to look ahead. What's coming for 23? And you might have noticed the Discover section is still lacking on iOS. We have discussions with Apple, so we want to make it back over there, and we are taking this opportunity to revamp. You might have noticed there is a lot of improvement we can do to the UX of the Discover section in Ledger Live, so we are going to do that. Filtering, sorting, categories, you name it, just better UX. And on top of that, we are also starting to list partners on our ledger.com website directly. So this is to give you guys more visibilities for even people who don't have Ledger Live. They can go to our website, they can see the list of partners we are working with, they can search depending on their use cases, and with a nice little deep link, you can open the app in Ledger Live. So this is what's coming next. Now, I hope to deliver this fairly shortly in Q1, so please stay tuned, and we'll get that delivered to you guys. I will briefly talk about now how, as an application team, you can get into Ledger Live, and there are different scenarios depending on a few things. So first, I will talk about this amazing library we did called the Wallet API, formerly known as LiveApp SDK. And it allows basically any web app to interact with Ledger Live. But you interact with Ledger Live, you interact with your ledger, right? So it is our goal with that library is to abstract away all the complexity that Roman and the team are building on the blockchain support side of Ledger Live, right? So what we expose here are blockchain agnostic methods. So for a few examples, you want to sign a transaction, but you know, as an application developer, you don't want to get into the all the details about what's a UTXO-based blockchain, what's an account-based blockchain. So what we did for you is that you craft that transaction with minimal information. So basically, you can imagine an amount, a receiver address, and that's pretty much it. Then you request the library, please sign that. So the live will sign it, and ultimately, the ledger device will sign it. On top of signing transaction, you can also start signing messages. EIP 191 is quite famous in the EVM world, so that's available too. And finally, because your web app will be ran into Ledger Live, with this library, you can get a bit of context. So, for example, you can ask the user to select an account on a specific blockchain or not on a specific blockchain, depending on your flow. But you can also get, for example, all the accounts that are set up by that user with their respective balances. So if you are, for example, a portfolio app, this is a great feature. You can just fetch that data, then do your compute, and then show P&L, whatever you want, okay? Now this is the first example of you are a web app, and you are pretty large in terms of blockchain you want to support. Because now I will talk about a specific use case of web app, which are dApps, right? And what we call dApps are the one leveraging EVM's standards, right? All the AIPs calls, etc. So because there is such standard, and let's be honest, it's not very common in the industry yet to have standards, but here there is one. So what we did is that we build the interaction layer between your RPC calls and the wallet API. So you don't have to take care of it. We did it once, and we keep improving based on the calls we support, etc. But it makes your life easier as a dApp team because you don't have to take care of that. All you have to do is for your front end to send the RPC call to Ledger Live. And in terms of networks, we support mainnet, Polygon, and BSC, okay? But very soon, we will start expanding. It's a matter of days or week before we go with Chronos and Phantom, and then we have Arbitrum and Optimism. So if your dApp is on one of these chains or L2s, please stay tuned. It's a matter of weeks before it comes, and then we can start working together and offering your dApp to the users. So now I will show you a little bit in a video what the experience looks like on mobile. So I took the example of Paraswap, which is a DEX aggregator, and what Ledger Live allow is the account and the chain selection. Because Paraswap is multi-chain, you would have to select your account not in Paraswap, but in Ledger Live itself. This is at the bottom of the screen. So you can here change account, depending on what you want to do. And obviously, through RPC calls, the dApp reacts to it and updates its front end automatically. So account and chain selection. And obviously, once the transaction flow is coming, now you see that on screen, you leave the realm of the dApp itself because the RPC call is issued, and then you go on to the Ledger Live model, right? This is where you can see the difference between the dApp and Ledger Live. Sorry, yeah. I will come back a few minutes about security requirements because you remember this is what we do. Ledger is a security firm. This is what we sell, and this is what we do best. So we need together as Ledger and app teams to improve the security of the ecosystem, right? Charles talked about it before. Another team will talk about it later. This is our focus. And today, if your application has some smart contract interaction, this is very common in the EVM world. We've built Paraswap and all the example, Kiln, etc. They leverage smart contract. How do we achieve this clear signing? How do we achieve displaying on the Ledger device, not mobile or desktop, on the Ledger device, we display a meaningful message to us human, right? So when you swap on Paraswap, okay, you've seen the experience on Ledger Live Mobile. What you are right to expect on your Ledger device is to see what you are going to swap as well, right? Because this is the only display you can trust, remember? So on the Ledger device, you will see the amount of token you will swap and the amount of token, well, you will pay and you will receive, right? We achieve that with what we call a plugin. A plugin is a piece of code. It's in C at the moment, and it extends the Ethereum app on your Ledger device. And what it does is fairly simple. It parses the transaction payload and decide what to display. So in case of a swap, swap n amount of token A to get m amount of token B. You can also deposit. You can withdraw. I mean, you name it. The use case are whatever you want on your smart contract. But the goal is always to display meaningful information to the user. Amounts, addresses, all that stuff. And this is how we achieve clear signing together. And yeah, very new feature. I'm very proud to talk about this is EIP 712 personalization. So, we are, as I said, signing messages is getting more common in the EVM world. So we had the EIP 191, which is very free text. It gives you a lot of liberty. 712 is typed, so you're a bit more constrained. But what we do through our whitelisting on our GitHub, if you whitelist your 712 message, we will allow you to do two things. First is you can filter. So if, for whatever reason, your 712 is pretty long and all fields may not be relevant for the users, they might be relevant for your protocol, but not for the users. You can decide not to display some fields. This is just to give better UX to the user. You are in front of your Nano, and you don't want to see some technical stuff that doesn't bring any value to you. You want to see what you're about to do. So first, filtering. And second is renaming. So sometimes you pick a bit more technical names because you've designed your protocol with these names. And just for the UX, because you have a human behind the screen, you might want to rename it to be a bit more clear about what you are about to do. Spaces in names, stuff like that, very easy. But the goal really is that with both filtering and renaming, your 712 becomes fairly. A human can understand what he is about to do really. So this is what you can do now. So it's brand new. So I welcome your PRs on our GitHub repo. And yeah, together this will increase the level of security in the ecosystem. And to remind you, if you don't already know, a couple of ways to reach out. Developers.ledger.com is our dev portal. All the knowledge is there. Everything I've said today is there. So this is our public-facing website for developers. We can also talk directly on GitHub. If these are more technical discussions, we are very keen to take it as close as possible to the code. So feel free to reach out to the amazing squad and myself. We are over there on Wallet API repo. This is another media is Discord. There are a couple of channels. The names are quite easy to understand. You can reach out. There is one called Live Apps, for example. And well, you have some history on Discord, so maybe I have already replied to your question that someone else asked. So that's a bit of search feature. And for today, if you are thirsty, go at the bar and meet me at my booth, and we can talk about what I've discussed today or whatever topic you have if you are a dApp team, dApp developer, BD, you name it. Thank you very much for your time.
Fantastic. And you heard him, he's thirsty. If you want to have a chat and a beer, definitely join Adrien. We'll be happy to walk you through the wallet API and get you more information. And it's also the same for Roman. Roman, if you're building a protocol and want to get integrated within Ledger Live, go have a chat with him. He'll help you out and get you started with all this. This is amazing, actually. I just want to take a step back real quickly, because so what we've done is we have a secure element. We built an OS on top of it, so your keys never leave that secure element. We built a framework so you can build your own application, so it's entirely open, it's all open source. Then on top of that, we built Ledger Live, which is entirely open source again. You can integrate your protocol, integrate your apps. So this is really a world first and quite unique in the space. And thanks to all this, we actually are the hardware wallet with the most chains. We're actually competing with software wallets. I don't think many software wallets have more support for more chains than we do. And that's important because Web3 is multi-chain, and whatever the chain is always the same principle. Your keys tie you to your digital assets. And what we're doing for consumers, we're also doing it for enterprise. And that's why I'd like to welcome on stage the VP of Ledger Enterprise, Sergiu Baltoiu. Yeah, there you go. The mic's not working. Yeah.
Very much. Okay, so 2 mics is better than 1. Hello everyone, my name is Sergiu and I'm the VP of Engineering for the Tech Enterprise Group. And it's actually my pleasure to be here with all of you and to see everyone both inside this wonderful room and also online. I'm not seeing you, but I know you're there and I'm very excited about presenting to you the Ledger Enterprise Group. You've heard from Carl that this is one of our Ledger's best-kept secrets, where we don't necessarily want it to be a best-kept secret, which is exactly why I'm here. And in this presentation, my desire is to both tell you about what we achieved and also what is our ambition in the crypto space and the Web3 ecosystem with the enterprise solution. We actually, as a company, want Web3 ecosystem to be a part of everyone's daily life. You know this, you've heard about this, and this is something we really believe into. And of course, we believe into it both as a general ecosystem, but also through the lens of self-custody, which is why we need serious enterprise actors. They need to understand self-custody. And frankly, these last few months really showed us that this is important. And of course, you might ask yourselves, how did we start with Ledger Enterprise? I mean, why is there a need about this? Why are we doing this project? We actually started 5 years ago from a simple truth. Our nano devices are the best security in class. And that meant that enterprise actors immediately started using them. And on a secure point of view, that's not a problem. But from a governance point of view, that is very dangerous. Because we had a few people inside the company, maybe just one person controlling millions and billions dollars worth of crypto. That is a recipe for disaster. So we really wanted to offer a great solution. And this solution is exactly what happened when we created Ledger Enterprise. Ledger Enterprise offers our clients a number of points, but the most important ones are governance. Governance means control. Which team can do what inside the company? Which team cannot do something else? In this way, our product both prevents internal collusion, and of course, means that the different parties of a company can access and do their job safely. Compliance. Compliance is extremely important because, again, we've seen this in the last months. It means how do you track transactions? How do you audit activity? And it means also how do you respect regulations? Regulations are not something that has to hurt the ecosystem. Actually, the other way around. It's something that can really foster innovation. And of course, integration and operations are the most basic blocks of a company. That means how are you efficient? What is the best possible service we can offer our clients and our clients can offer their customers? Enabling automation is one of the big points of 2022, and we really see it going on in 2023 as well. So all of this we had in mind. So after 5 years of work, we actually achieved it, and we want to push it even further. we have right now a solution that has $0 compromised. Again, think about that. In our ecosystem, $0 compromised, hacked, lost, or mismanaged, and going on for the last 4 years. We have more than 100 clients, including very big financial shops that have been with us for the last years. And we have a solution that's proprietary hardware, firmware, and software, but is based on open security standards that are continuously checked and rechecked by special bodies of regulatory verifications. And of course, right now we are happy to tell you guys that we are an industry leader of digital assets custody solutions. This is because we have a flexible custody and we have a scalable architecture. And of course, we remain true to our principles. It is 100% self-custody. Our clients are in control. We organize our solutions around 4 big areas. Protect your digital assets, and these companies can then protect their customers' assets. Interact with DeFi and smart contracts. It is an amazing revolution, and we want to be part of it, and we want our clients to be part of it. We want to create new value, NFTs, new projects that are coming. All these has to be available to everyone, so we made it part of our platform. And of course, we want to support our clients' operations. It is the bare bones and the minimum, and we want to do even more than that. So, what does this mean? Where, as a group, we actually created one product, the Ledger Vault. It is a managed corporate solution with end-to-end security for digital asset custody. And of course, we want to give our clients 4 big things. Peace of mind. That means end-to-end security to de-risk the day-to-day operations. It is the main request and the one that we continuously want to satisfy beyond what our customers ask for. We want to give them agility with endlessly customizable approval workflows. This is how each client can do exactly what they want in the way they want it. And we want, of course, to have scalability. Now the ecosystem keeps growing, and even if there are some tumultuous times happening, we see new members going in day to day. And we want to support our clients to take advantage of this revolution. And of course, the basis again, control, easy audits, precise policies, regulations, compliance. Everything is going to be even more important, so all of us, as part of the ecosystem, can have a safe trip and have fun. So, actually, I would love to give you a little preview of our solution. I won't present everything. It's a full SAS platform, so it takes a bit of time. I actually want to show you exactly how it happens, that you can make sure that anything and any actor inside the company can work correctly. This solution is working, of course, with hardware devices, but here it's only software. And what I want to show you is that a company that has multiple accounts can be protected even against some of its biggest actors, like a CEO. What happens if the CEO themselves wants to misuse funds? Where actually you can create rules where the board of trustees can take care of all the transactions and can approve or disapprove of them and stop them. So here our admin shows the rules of one of these vaults, where the CEO can create everything they want, but the board of trustees has to accept them. And let's assume that the CEO, someone's new, who knows, they just hired, perfect candidate, actually tries to transfer some amount of crypto from the company's accounts to their private account. Of course, we still have everything that works and we need to put forward. That's the CEO's device that has to accept the transaction. But even afterwards, once it's done, the system takes over. What happens is, well, someone can have a good idea sometimes. Once the transaction is accepted, the system will ask one of the approvers to check it. We're seeing right now another user, which is part of the board of trustees, log in, and of course they see a new request coming. Well, it seems interesting as a request, but going into more details, it's probably not something we really want to accept. So this is just skimming off the top of the application. We can go very, very deep into the workflows. We can create precisely what our clients need, and this is the value we put forward. And of course, everything is based on a number of elements. We call it secret sauce, but it's actually our pleasure to explain it to you here. There are 3 parts in the solution. One is the PSD, which just stands for Personal Security Device. The second one is the secure channel. This is a software component that we specifically designed, again, on open security standards to make sure that we have genuineness of devices and secure approvals. And then the third part is the HSM, which again just stands for Hardware Security Module. Together, these 3 parts make the Vault the safest solution out there for custody of funds in Web3 ecosystem. And frankly, our enterprise clients agree. So just to take a better look at the PSD, it's a very interesting point because, again, it is the basis of our secure system. It has a trusted display, as we explained also about stacks, and some of you may actually recognize it. I don't know if anyone here does. It's the Ledger Blue, and it was released 4 years ago and actually sold as a consumer device. But the interesting part is that the trusted display is extremely important to have all critical operations verified and enabling real and true what you see is what you sign. And of course, one device, one client representative. That means that unique devices, they ask for logins, and of course, they ask for authentication. So we have real user authentication. And this device worked perfectly, and we are very proud of it. But we actually want to change something, because now we're releasing the best new device in class with stacks. So we take an engagement, and we are going to migrate the Vault's enterprise solution from the Ledger Blue to the Ledger Stacks device. And this is to give our customers the absolute best in security and in user experience. So, why are we doing all this? Because we really believe, again, that a real ecosystem, a safe and healthy ecosystem, requires big actors that understand self-custody. And we find ourselves working with great names like Komeinu, Crypto.com, and many others to really push forward this understanding. Real partnerships, more than clients, mean our vision gets out there, and together with our clients, we construct a common vision. So, what do we want to do in the future? We want to promote a responsible model of custody and exchanges. Again, this is extremely important. Everyone has seen what happened in the last months. We want, together with our partners, to build global trust in the Web3 ecosystem. So, what's in future? What's in 2023? We want to keep momentum. It is extremely important, specifically now. The last few months, some people are asking some questions, and they are the good questions, and our answers have to be good answers. We want to continue developing an ecosystem and integrating our enterprise solutions with all other partners that are out there. New APIs and our own, they have to connect correctly to integrate new networks and new teams. And this is exactly what everyone here comes in. Because the dev portal is a one-stop shop to join us. And today, we are going with our enterprise solution on the developer portal. We will go on the Discord channel, and we welcome all of you to come to us, and we will go to you to start working together. So, please join us. It is the message we want to put out there. And the adventure of building a rich Web3 ecosystem rests on all of us. So thank you, all of you. It's been a real pleasure, and it will really be my pleasure to take any questions you have outside at the bar. If you are thirsty or not, doesn't matter. Please find me. And of course, if you have any projects that you want to put forward, it will be my personal pleasure to talk to you and to work together. And of course, talking about partners, one of our main partners is Kiln. So, it is my big pleasure to introduce a good friend and Kiln's representative, Ernest Opeti.
Hi, everyone. Hey, 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 as I like to say. It's my favorite meme, so I always try to pay tribute to it. Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. So I'm from Kiln. We are a staking platform based here in Paris. And we've been partnered with Ledger for about a year, and we're really super happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. We're big fans of the Ledger team, and congratulations on a really awesome event and great announcements. I think we can give him a round of applause. So I'm here to talk about a Ethereum staking product that we developed with Ledger. So for those who don't know, staking is the act of securing proof-of-stake blockchains. Basically, you can deposit collateral to earn the rights to secure transactions on a network, and that basically funds a validator, and validators are essentially the servers that can confirm transactions and propose new blocks, right? So what we have worked on with Ledger is bringing native Ethereum staking to all Ledger users. So for this project, we basically had 3 goals. The first is to bring this native Ethereum staking. This is in contrast to liquid staking, which was already available for Ledger Live users. The second key goal was clear signing, right? So it's an important sort of philosophical point of Ledger's devices, that what you see is what you sign, right? And we wanted to make sure we do that as well in this product. And the last bit is about fully automated commission management. So when you stake Ethereum today, natively, basically you have to ask your customer to pay you, right? Because all the rewards are accruing to their wallet, and that's a problem in the case of Ledger, where there are millions of users, and there's not necessarily a direct relationship with these users. And so we automated this commission management through smart contracts. So this is a short video to show you guys what this product looks like. So the product is integrated through the Ledger Live app. In the Discover section, you can find the Kiln application. And this loads a dApp that we developed with the Ledger team, where users can simply deposit, it's 32 ETH per validator. In a future version, we'll also enable pooling, so lower amounts than that. And here you can see the transaction, the deposit transaction is proposed to the user, which they confirm through their hardware device. And then that just sends through and funds the validator, and then users start earning rewards immediately. They can then go back into the application and see the rewards that they've earned. And that information is available both in a web app and also via an API. So that just gives you an idea of kind of the user flow. This was on Ledger Live, but there's also the same flow live on Ledger Vault as well for enterprise customers. And this shipped in the last about a month ago, and since then we've had over $20 million of stake, which is almost 500 validators. I think probably today in this room I see some whales around, and we can probably get above 500. So how does this product work behind the scenes? Just to give you an idea of the sort of like infrastructure behind the scenes to run this, the validators and also the staking contracts. So on the left, you can see users depositing from their Ledger products. And then we've deployed a set of smart contracts that essentially accept these deposits and then fund different validators, right? These validators are spun up in Kiln's infrastructure. This is sort of like the main part that we handle. We run the validator nodes and guarantee a certain level of performance. And then there's another smart contract that basically holds a claim to these deposits, which means that when users then want to withdraw, there's a commission that can be automatically sent to Kiln and Ledger. So this means it's a fully automated staking process, and it's all kind of transparent through these smart contracts, right? In fact, you can go to Dune Analytics now and see basically all the deposits flowing into this, to this product. Okay, so now to talk a little bit about like how we integrated more directly with Ledger's ecosystem, right? So there's sort of like two main components to how we integrated. The first is a dApp that we developed. This was fairly easy to do because essentially we have to just host a web page and then declare it in a manifest file. And we work with the Ledger team to also support this on testnets, so like on the Goerli network. And yeah, it was really easy to get this done. You can also deploy like experimental dApps, which means that you can have sort of like test versions, and this was really quite seamless. The slightly trickier part of the project was developing a plugin, right, so that users can see, you know, see what they're doing, and you have very clear steps, and you know what you see is what you sign, right? So for that, we actually used boilerplate repo from the Ledger team, but basically saved a lot of time because we could essentially adapt what they had already done, and sort of like make our own version of the plugin. I think the part that took the most time is making like the ASCII art of our own logo. So that gives you an idea of like, you know, how this was a fairly like seamless process. I think it was about one week of engineering time to get our plugin kind of V1. So yeah, I would say just like, you know, from a kind of customer perspective, like we have had a great experience integrating Ledger's products, both from using the developer portal, the Discord community, but then also, you know, people who are here, right? Pretty much everyone, you know, what's cool for us is at this conference we're seeing people we've worked with, Yassine, Sergio, Adrien, Mathilde, Charles here, who have all also helped us kind of individually, right, to do this. The Donjon as well, which is Ledger's security team, have helped us also review this whole product. So yeah, we're really grateful for kind of this collaboration. Yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for the time.
Amazing. I really feel every time we host one of these, like I get the opportunity to learn a lot because I'm typically on more of the communication side of things, so I'm kind of in the back on the side taking notes. But I'm very excited now to bring Laurent and Yassine up to the stage. You know, something that we all probably know but need to remind ourselves is with the adoption of NFTs, we actually have almost, you know, 1 billion transactions that are happening unsecurely around the world. And with the introduction of, you know, clear signing and creating new opportunities like Ledger Market, we're trying to provide more secure solutions at the consumer side and the enterprise side for folks. So I'm going to bring them both up now, and they're going to tell you more about what they're up to. Thank you.
Wow, so happy to be here with you today at Ledger Open. I'm Laurent Castillo, VP of Architecture at Ledger.
And I'm Yassine Badis. I'm a software architect in Laurent's team. So, as architects at Ledger, we're involved in pretty much the whole of our tech stack. One thing that we focus a lot on is the security of our users. How can we improve it? How can we make it better? Today, we'd like to dig a bit more into one of the aspects of that security and show you a bit more how it works behind the scene.
So now in the room, we're all developers or content creators, right? So let's imagine we've created an amazing new decentralized application. And here, let me just give a shout out to Node Guardians, who've actually created a great tutorial to teach us exactly how to do that. So now your users, they're responsible, they've been listening to what's happening, and they've bought a hardware wallet to secure their interaction with Web3. Unfortunately, when they start interacting with your DApp, here is what they would see. So this is bad in so many ways. It could be anything. It could be actually a transfer of their assets to an attacker. It could be authorizing a sale of their preferred NFT on OpenSea, basically something very bad for them. Wouldn't it be amazing if they could see instead something like that? So something that is clear for them, explains to them exactly what they're doing, and make it clear what they want, what they need to approve on their device. So to build this kind of experience for every use case, we need all your help here, together with Ledger and together with the Web3 developer. We need to build that together. So let's talk a little bit today about some of the concepts we have in Ledger around clear signing, how we actually built those concepts inside our stack, and how you, as third-party developers, can extend those concepts and build this kind of experience for our end users together. So, but where do we start? So you've been hearing all day today and also yesterday and probably the whole year long that self-custody is super important. And it's been a core focus for Ledger to build self-custody in all of our hardware wallets since day one, actually. But self-custody is only the beginning of the journey. It's necessary, but it's not sufficient. And the end goal of the security of Web3 should be clear signing everything, clear signing all the things, actually. And that's why we actually built in all of our devices a trusted display as a foundation for building this clear signing for everything. But now, can you explain to us a little bit more, Yassine, what this clear signing is all about and the subtleties of clear signing?
Yeah, sure. So you've heard the words clear signing quite a lot today, actually, before us. But nobody has clarified what that actually means. So to understand in detail what clear signing is on your device when you're using it, we have to get back to basics. And the basic is that whenever you whip out your ledger, you're trying to interact with the contract, it's actually sending you some message that you have to sign. That's the basic of your interaction. But just like anything in life, before you sign, you should be reading your contract. You should be reading your message. You have to review it. And so that review step of the message that you're signing is not optional, it's essential, and it's part of your security. Now, there's quite a few ways to review messages on Web3. And nowadays, we've got lots and lots of contracts out there, lots of dApps, and so there's a lot of messages that users have to go through, they have to understand them, and that's quite a burden for everybody. And to be honest, it's not only a burden, it's a security risk for most. So now, let's take a look at the different ways we can actually review these messages, starting with the worst one, blind signing. So this is on screen a blind sign. Essentially what it means is that you're reviewing on your device the exact bytes, the exact sequence of bytes that compose the message that is going to be signed and broadcasted on chain. Now, if you're like me, you're not bytes fluent, and so you'll have a hard time figuring out what is going on that screen. That is clearly a big issue if you want to understand what is it that you're signing. And so I just don't accept signing and approving anything that looks like this. I'd like to have more. Now, how do we get more out of it? Well, one thing to realize is that these bytes, they do have meaning. It's not because I cannot read them that they don't have meaning, right? So what we can do is ask our secure device to actually parse those bytes into a format that makes sense, okay? Just like we're seeing here. We've gone from raw bytes that mean nothing to us to something that says we're actually sending 32 ETH to some address that I don't know about. And while this is not perfect, it's already quite a good step for us. We get somewhat of an understanding what's going on here, right? This kind of review we call transparent signing. The reason being that you get some raw data that you've parsed inside a secure element, and then we display it to you. So we're just showing you the content of the message in a clearer way. Before we approve anything with that, we need to be able to go further, because on that previous screen, you could see that I was sending 32 ETH, which, by the way, is quite a lot for me. So I'd like to know who I'm sending it to, right? I need to know who that address is. And it's only by adding some context, some extra context to the transaction that we can tell that, because the transaction won't give you anything else. And so we add that extra trusted context from outside. And what does it tell us? Well, that address actually belongs to Kiln, who was just on stage before us. it's actually the smart contract address of Kiln. And so when I'm sending 32E to it, I'm not just making a send, I'm actually staking funds. And that's much nicer. So with this extra context, trusted context, I'm able to move from a weird send of a lot of money to actually, no, you're staking with a trusted partner and you can believe it, you can trust it when you're looking at it on screen. So you can see we went from something unreadable to something somewhat understandable to having actual knowledge about the transaction. And that's the essential steps to go from blind signing to clear signing. So now that we have a better understanding of this concept of clear signing, we'd like to show you how we've made it extensible all over our stack at Ledger.
Indeed. And it bears repeating, extensibility for clear signing is the key challenge. Supporting all the blockchains, all the formats, all the protocols, and all the use cases out there is really the biggest challenge we have, really. So let me introduce you to a few patterns we use at Ledger in our stack to actually build the stack in an extensible way. Starting with actually what goes inside the device. So the basic building block for building clear signing for us is a nano application, since yesterday also stacks applications. This nano application actually takes raw bytes as an input corresponding to the transaction we want to review, interpret them and transform them in a message that can be displayed on the trusted device, on the trusted display of the device. Sorry. And for blockchains that support many new different type of formats or signed messages or smart contracts, we built the nano application in a way that it's extensible with plugins. Plugins are also small applications that gets loaded on the device, gets reviewed and signed by Ledger, and actually transform one single type of message, one single type of smart contract interaction into something that is easy to understand for the user on the screen. And if we want to go further than a single type of message or a single type of smart contract, we can enrich the display with parsing metadata. So this parsing metadata is just data that tells the device exactly what needs to be displayed and how it should be displayed on the screen. So for example, in a smart contract, we're going to say which field of the smart contract data should be displayed, how it should be formatted on the screen. And in the end, you have something that is as clear as possible for the end user. This parsing metadata gets verified and signed by Ledger so that it's trusted directly on the device, and we have a full chain of trust from the device to Ledger as to what you display on the screen, actually. So with these basic building blocks, you get transparent signing and a little bit of a start of clear signing. But if we want to go further than that, if we, as Yacine mentioned, want to build context about the transaction we need to display to the end user, that's actually when we need to get metadata outside of the transaction, verify it and check it, and inject it inside the device so that the device can more clearly display the transaction and the intent of the transaction to the end user. And for this in Ledger, at Ledger, we've built a backend which connects many different sources of truth, both on and off blockchains, actually, assemble them together, verify the data that comes from these sources of truth, transform the data in a format that is understandable by the device more easily, and signs it so that, again, the device can completely trust the data that it gets, that it will use to display the intent of the transaction for the end user. And with all these components, we basically built a stack which enables clear signing for as many use cases as we can for the end users. And let me give a couple of concrete examples of things we do with these stacks so that you have a better idea of what we mean by all of that. So Nano Apps stacks applications also. Most obvious one, most easy. So we have a Bitcoin application, we have an Ethereum application. We basically have an application for the top 50 blockchains out there, and we continue building the application to support the whole ecosystem. Then for plugins, Ethereum is a very good example. Ethereum is a blockchain with a lot of innovation and a lot of smart contracts activities on top of it. So with plugins, we support things like ERC20 tokens, so your basic Ethereum tokens. We support also NFTs, exactly, with a plugin and all the interactions around NFTs. We support ERC 712's structured message signing. So all of these are supported by extending the Ethereum application with this plugin system. So now, again, for parsing metadata, again, Ethereum is a very good example. We mentioned tokens. So a token has usually a ticker and a specific unit that you need to display it into. This gets precised by metadata around the ERC20 token. So we send to the device a small descriptor that says, okay, this token unit should be in 1,000th of the amount that we have. The ticker should be a BTC or whatever, or USDT or whatever we want to use as an official token here. And likewise, for both structured messages and smart contract data descriptor, we have descriptors that tells us exactly what we should display in the transaction that we receive. So which kind of field we should display to the end user, what's the title of the field that we should display to the end user, and what's the format that we need to use for displaying that to the end user. And this all gives us a mechanism to provide very detailed information to the end user, but most importantly, pertinent details that needs to be provided to the end user. Now for the most important part, trusted context. So let me give you a couple of examples of what we use trusted context for. So with trusted context, we are, for instance, able to replace addresses with NFT collection names, or including with domain names that we get on ENS. So with that, the user will actually see a real human-readable name on his device rather than a raw bytes of address, which is, let's be honest, difficult to review actually. But we can also, for instance, show you what is your current interaction with a centralized exchange. So we integrate with centralized exchange so that instead of seeing the raw send that you're doing to centralized exchange, you will actually see the real operation you're trying to do. Is it a swap? Is it me selling my cryptos? So you will approve the real operation you're trying to do rather than actually the raw transaction that actually goes on the blockchain. And including up to things like providing on your device a risk evaluation of the transaction and showing you directly on your device if the transaction is going to be very risky or not, thanks to our brand new product, Web3 Check, that we have here, that we will integrate in our device very soon. So now, as a third-party developer, how can you extend all of this, and how can you help improve what your end users are going to see on our devices? We've always built our stack at Ledger with extensibility by third-party developers in mind, actually. That's always been a key philosophy for us to be able to extend our stack. And everything I've been talking about today is extensible one way or another by third-party developers. So, basic example, Nano application and plugins, they are already all open sourced on Ledger GitHub repository. And you are more than welcome to contribute to the Nano applications, to fork them, duplicate them, to build your own use case with our code. Parsing metadata, again, open sourced and completely made public by Ledger and available to third-party developers. This is an information that gets verified and signed by Ledger, so feel free to contact our developer relations team or our partners team on Discord or directly so that you can give us your trusted metadata. We have a simple descriptor format that you can use, and we can enrich our GitHub repository with it and publish it for everyone to use after that. And then now for the trusted context part, as I mentioned, we've built our stack so that we integrate many different data sources, and we've made that integration as easy to extend as possible. And if you're interested in being one of these trusted data sources that gets clear signed directly on the device, feel free to contact our partner team so that you can add your trusted data source to our backend, basically. And let me finish with one topic that is very close to my heart, which is actually why you can't trust Ledger. Well, I mean, beyond having the most secure hardware wallet out there and a company that actually cares for security and privacy as I've never seen, it's because you don't have to trust Ledger. So we've always built our devices so that you can unplug them from Ledger as a root of trust. You can unplug them from the infrastructure of Ledger and completely replace the trust part of the infrastructure of Ledger by your own stuff. And we're committing to always making it possible by open sourcing whatever standards, formats, commands we use on the device, so that you can completely replace Ledger as a root of trust by you and do what or by someone that will provide a different type of trust on your device. So let me repeat it because I think it's very important. You can trust Ledger because you don't have to.
Yeah, that's a key point actually. I mean, in the world of crypto, blockchain security, being able to do away entirely with trust, that's a huge feature that I haven't seen anywhere else, to be honest. So at this point, we've shown you quite a different ways for you to integrate with our clear signing framework. And what we've made sure is that it's super, super contribution friendly because we know that we are in the decentralized world and all the formats that are there, you're making them every day. And so we need decentralized contributions to be able to support all the blockchains, all the new use cases, all the new formats. Now, at this point, I hope that you have kind of understood our message, but I'm going to make sure of that. So our objective is to never blind sign, at least transparent sign, but always, always, always strive for what kind of signing? Yes, thank you. Great. So for those who got it right, you can join us on the booths after. We'll have a drink. We'll talk more details into this. And for those who got it wrong, you can join us as well. It's fine. We'll explain everything to you. That's fine. So hopefully this is now pretty clear for you. We're really waiting for your contributions. And, well, we'd like to thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. And now we'd like to talk a bit more about Ledger Connect, which is our biggest initiative to clarify the whole Web3 interactions. Please welcome on stage Vincent Salamand.
Hi everyone, my name is Vincent and I lead the team who build new products to connect Ledger users with your dApps. Today I'm going to share an update about Ledger Connect and tell you why we think it's important for Ledger users and your dApps. So I think you're starting to get it now. We are a security company and we care about self-custody. It means that people have ownership of their digital assets and they control who can access it. So it's a great power, but it's also a big responsibility because people can lose their money. So that's why they need secure hardware to protect it and secure software to use it. But from a user perspective, using dApps and NFT projects on a daily basis can be a challenge. Most people rely on software wallets because the setup is easy. They don't always realize that one bad click can have strong consequences. It's what we call blind signing. Laurent and Yacine just talk about it, so you know what it is. It's when you sign a transaction and you don't know the details. Sometimes it's legit, and sometimes it's not. And it's what hackers use to trick you. So when people get it, they understand why security matters. And they might consider using a hardware wallet. But now, let's face it, it's not super convenient yet. If you want to use your hardware wallet, you have to connect it to a software wallet. It's on desktop with a USB cable. And the user journey isn't straightforward. There is just a lot of friction. And so we want to change that. We want Ledger products to be easy to use, and we want to close that gap. That's why we are working on this exciting new product that we call Ledger Connect. It's use dApps directly with your Ledger. We announced it at permissionless. It's been in private beta for a few months,
And now we are opening up to more testers as we progress toward launch, which is very soon. So what's Ledger Connect? It's the killer wallet extension for Ledger. It works with Ledger Nano X and Ledger Stacks over Bluetooth. No third-party software in the middle. It's multi-chain, means that when we launch, we'll be at least on Ethereum, Polygon, and Solana. You can expect more in the future. And we are starting with Safari. So you might wonder, why Safari? Well, because we wanted to go mobile first, and it turns out that Safari is the only web platform that supports web plugins on mobile. So when we launch, we'll be on iPod, iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. But don't worry, if you're not using Safari, Chrome and more are coming shortly after. On top of that, we added two very important features to fight blind signing. The first one is Web3 checks. It's a security layer that will identify and stop fraud before it happens. So basically, we'll scan transactions and look for unusual signs. And if we detect something can compromise your assets or your permissions, you'll know about it. And so what's cool about it is that even if your dApp is compromised, at least we'll catch it and your users will stay safe. And Wallet Preview, that one is really amazing because you literally see what goes in and out of your wallet. It's super easy to make a decision and to avoid bad interactions. So you see, using dApps with your Ledger on Connect becomes very easy. All you have to do is carry your Ledger with you and find the Ledger button on your favorite dApps. So let me show you how this works on OpenSea. So I go to OpenSea, and I'm going to click to connect my wallet. I see this cool Ledger button. I have the extension, so it's going to ask me to select an account, which I do. And then I'm going to buy a cool NFT. It's a collaboration between Ledger and Deadfellows. It was released on a Ledger Market. And so you see, I'm just going through the regular flow, and I'm going to buy it. And when I do, it will trigger the transaction flow in the extension. And you will see first Web3 checks. Then you see what goes in and out of your wallet. Then you select your gas fees. And when you do, it sends the transaction to your device. You compare what you see on screen and on your device. And when you know you're good, you approve it. It sends the transaction to the blockchain. You see what's happening in real time. And when it's done, you have the summary, and you can even click on View in App to view the transaction or the NFT in Ledger Live. It's cool, right? Thank you. So we made this for Ledger users, and they'll want to use it on your dApps. So the rest is on you guys. We want to work with you. That's why we built the Ledger Connect Kit. It's your gateway to Ledger users. It works out of the box with the Ledger Connect extension and Ledger Live apps on all platforms. You can learn more about it on developer.ledger.com. You'll find instruction in there. To get started, two ways, using our APIs, like OpenSea is doing, or one of the wallet libraries. We are getting integrated into all the major ones, Web3 Onboard, WAGMI, Web3 React, you name it. And if you have any problem, you can come to Discord and ask your questions. We'll be here to answer. So the channel is Ledger Connect Kit. And that's it. So if you care about it and you're ready, visit developer.ledger.com and add the Ledger button to your login flow. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Great. So it looks like the screen fell. So it might be a bit of an issue for the next talk. So I have no idea what I'm going to do here. I just need to stall a little bit to give the team enough time to get the screen back up, because it's an amazing talk that we have next, and it's really an opening. You heard about what Vincent and the other guys were saying earlier. It's all about security, yes, but it shouldn't be at the expense of ease of use. And I think balancing the two is really the key challenge that we're trying to address. So we're doing that via Ledger Connect is one example of bringing clear signing smoothly and seamlessly to your browsers. But we got new stuff in the pipeline, and it's actually driven by our innovation team. And the next person that's going to come up on stage is our co-founder, Nicolas Bacca, who's leading the innovation team, and is working on a brand new system. It's all work in progress that we'd like to expose to you. It's very complex, very technical. I love the talk. I was really mind blown the first time I saw it. But if you're going to give that talk without slides, that's going to be quite hard. You guys. Okay, still need more time. I have no idea what to do now. Really sorry for that. Just bear with us a little more. I know it's the last talk before the lunch break, so we're the last person standing in between you and food. This is always a hard moment, and it's even worse without backup and without slides. And I need to talk more. Okay. Jokes, oh my gosh, no. Like, a song, no. No, I'm not going for a song. Sorry? What's for lunch? I have no idea. What I can say, though, is that the day doesn't stop here, so maybe I can talk about what's happening behind us. We're in the auditorium for those of you online. We had the Gaîté Lyrique in Paris. This is the big main room where we're having the keynotes. And this afternoon, we're going to have some 4 panels about adoption, a little more about security, about cultural topics, with a lot of artists and people that are key actors and influencers in the space. So definitely stay tuned for those. Oh, it's there. Thank you. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you very much for your patience. And please welcome on stage Nicolas Bacca.
Hey. Thank you. Hey. Hi everybody, thanks Carl for saving the day and saving the last talk. So hope you enjoyed all the conference. I have the privilege to be closing it for the morning, then before a great afternoon. So I'm Nicolas Bacca. I am one of the 8 co-founders of Ledger, so that makes a nice NFT attribute. And I am leading the innovation team. You've seen a lot of innovation at Ledger today, so you can wonder what the innovation team is doing. And I will say that we are not afraid to redesign things, and we are not afraid to take a step back and look at everything we built before and see how we can change it. So as a minor spoiler, this talk today will be about looking at user experience and looking at how we are using our hardware wallets today and how we could maybe use them a bit differently tomorrow. So yeah, so to understand where we are going in the future, we need first to make sure of what we did in the past. So I will explain how we created Ledger. Initially, well, when you look at how you are paying in a shop, you are paying with something that's very futuristic. You are paying with a credit card. But when you are paying online, you are entering all this information, you are typing everything in a web form. And it looks a bit confusing, don't you think? You would expect to do the opposite. So actually, that's what we did with Ledger. We set the timeline straight, and we realized that it's better if you are able to pay directly from, well, it would be better if you use a smart card for your protection over the internet. So we took the smart card chip that you use in a shop, we opened it so you can run your own code on it, and we are the only company in the world to do that for all our products. So from the Nano to the Stacks, there is only one company in the world allowing you to run your code on a smart card. Then we connected this smart card to a screen and buttons so that you are sure that what you see is always what you sign and that your consent cannot be changed by malware. That's super important because there is no other product in the world that gives you this level of guarantee. But this was in 2015, and I would say the early prototypes dates back from 2012. So it gave us a lot of data points and some stuff we are able to improve and we could improve. So what are the pain points we located during those times? The first one, I would say, in the user experience is the onboarding. Because the first thing you do when you have a Ledger device, you are getting 24 words, and you are storing them on paper or on a stone if you have more time. So, well, this is great, but I think that those words hold too much power. So, well, it would be great if you knew a powerful God. We could ask, when we are going to change our device, to keep those 24 words as an identification, wait a bit, and get an opportunity to cancel this demand. So we would be only using those 24 words twice at setup and when we change devices. Problem is, we don't know friendly powerful God yet. So, well, for the time being, we will just keep it there. Then a second point, when we are using our device, we're using our device exactly the same way when we are buying a croissant, like all good French people do every day, or when we are buying a house, which is not something we do every day, especially with inflation. But we are looking at our device, we are looking at the screen, we are confirming, and this leads, in my opinion, to user fatigue. We are doing the same gesture every time, so again, it would be really great if we knew a powerful and friendly God which could make a difference between the two use cases and tell you, okay, for this one, I can use this device, for example, my phone to buy a croissant, and for this other one, I can use another device like my ledger when I do something very important. Again, we don't know with this friendly God, so, well, let's move forward. The third pain point is actually when you move through your crypto journey, because you are going to use your wallet in a very different way when you are a beginner, or when you want to have a multi-signature with more governance, or when you have, I hope not, a boat accident. Well, it happens a lot in crypto, so, well, I hope you don't get one. But if you want to change your crypto, if you want to give your cryptos to someone else, you would have to change wallets. And changing wallet is a painful experience. You have to send all your funds to a different wallet. You have to remember where your assets are. You have to pay fees. And really, it would be also great if we could change this. So we see that we have a lot of points to improve on the user experience. We can do better. And, well, we'll see actually how we can do it and what are the technical innovations that let us be more flexible with our hardware wallets. Because we got, don't be mistaken, we got a couple points very right. So we got the self-custody right, we got the key protection very right, we got the interoperability also right, and, well, so that's it. So we have all those points right, but we can improve on the flexibility. And we can try to seek that powerful and friendly God I was looking at, how we are going to make it a reality. So the way we are going to do this, we are going to look at several technical innovations that come up in the different years. One of the first one, which is very important, is the concept of account abstraction on the EVMs that appeared in 2018. When you are signing a transaction, you are usually talking to the lower layers of the network. So you are just signing something, but it has no internal logic. Account abstraction changes that by replacing your account by a smart contract that can run extended logic. So in this logic, you could say, okay, I'm going to use this key to pay for my croissant again, or I'm going to use this key to pay for my house. We see that the concept is extremely strong, and it works very well in practice. The problem is the practice part. It works in theory, sorry. The problem is the practice part. If you want to run it on a current chain, you will realize quickly that it doesn't really work because it's too expensive or it's too slow. But if we could run this on a chain, and if we could choose our keys by saying, for example, this key is my phone, this key is my ledger device, we would have solved our problem. It's not quite solved yet, so let's move forward, and let's see if we can dig further and find a way to solve that. So another technology we will be looking at that appears in 2012 is FIDO, or Web3n. FIDO let us move from standard web passwords and standard second factor authentication to an authentication which involves a cryptographic signature. So very similar to what we are doing in the blockchain space, and the important part is that it's web-based. So it gives you the power of strong authentication directly in your web browser. And where things get really interesting, in 2019, the major phone operators, OS suppliers like Apple and Google, decided to move it into the phone, so to add FIDO support into the phone and to back the keys by the secure element which is included in the phone. This secure element offers a security which is very similar to what Ledger does on the key protection side. So it's not protecting you against malware because you don't have a secure screen, you don't have a secure confirmation, but at least the keys are safe. So we realized that this could be a great way to connect to our previous contract, to our previous account abstractions that we've seen, if we could verify these signatures on-chain. And that's where we have another problem. So we have two kinds of solutions that don't run, which is a bit sad, because we can't verify those signatures on-chain. So we are still missing one piece of the puzzle. But as I am giving this presentation today, you can think that, yeah, we managed to solve it, and that's right. So we solved the last piece of the puzzle with Starknet. Starknet is a second layer on top of Ethereum, which we call a flexible scalability layer. So on Starknet, you can run very complex code and publish only a small proof of execution on chain. So you replace the long execution by a very short proof. And the great thing about Starknet is that it makes account abstraction cheap. It makes account abstraction absolutely possible to run. And we can also verify FIDO signatures on chain because we can verify signatures on that curve, which is not supported by the other chains. So in conclusion, we managed to solve all our problems, and we found the initial powerful God that we had no idea would exist by combining the power of malware resistance from Ledger, the flexibility of account abstraction, the identification power of FIDO, and finally Starknet, which lets us run all those things. And for the time being, we are calling this framework that will let you build better wallet, LedgerFresh. LedgerFresh is an internal name, so that the name might change because it was given to you by the team that brought you the Bolos operating system. So if you're French, you realize that the name might change, but I will still show you a small videos introducing it, and well, you will see a great summary of what this platform could bring in the future. So let's go for this video. Thank you. Thank you. So I see you liked it. Yeah, it's pretty fresh. So I won't make the joke, well, a lot, just once. Well, and we are going to be building a lot of things with this platform, and you are going to be building it with us. So now let me explain a bit why, and let me explain how it works in a little bit more details. So first, let's say you are starting your journey without a Ledger device. I know it's a Ledger conference, but this happens. I mean, you might not get a device yet. You will be able to use Fresh to register different phones to different use cases. For example, you will be able to say, okay, I'm using my phone to buy my croissant, and I am using this other phone to buy a house. It's not fully secure because you are not protected against malware, but we will give you opportunities to avoid taking too many risks by waiting before you change your security profiles. So since we are running with account abstraction, we can let you wait and give you a chance to cancel before you move from one security profile to another. It's not really the best UX. It's not really the best safe practices, but we will encourage you to get a Ledger device. Fresh will be reminding you that, well, it's much better if you use a Ledger device. Because when you get a Ledger device, then you get the full protection against malware. And you will be switching profiles by doing this securely in your Ledger device. And let's say that if at some point you are using your phone and you want to overcome, you are going to buy something a bit more expensive than a croissant but not yet a house, you will be able to use your hardware wallet to do that, and you will be able to have the full security by confirming on your hardware device. So Fresh introduces you new ways to use your hardware wallet and to choose a good security profile. And now, something important as well, as it's using account abstraction, and account abstraction is all about running logic into the contract, you can change this logic. So here, we will welcome all developers to create plugins, to create new ways to extend those contracts with us, and to say that, well, we will think about some small plugins. So we will think about some initial plugins that will, for example, let you, well, perform the recovery I was talking about. We will be designing plugins that let you switch and change your crypto and send your crypto to someone else. But we can think about pretty much anything you want. So here the limit is your imagination and, of course, the capacity of the Starknet blockchain. But, well, this is not really a concern for the time being. To summarize, so what have we seen? We are introducing a new platform that let us build better wallets. This platform will be fully open source, so we are still building it. I mean, the paint is pretty wet, so anybody will be able to build it with us and to help us getting a better wallet out for the community. This platform lets you use the best part of the hardware wallet, which is what you see is what you sign, and let you move from a solution where you don't have a hardware wallet to a solution where you are actually using one properly. This means that, well, it really makes the user experience different and the user experience absolutely better to use your crypto every day. This platform was built with the effort of many builders. So, well, I would like to thank them because we rely on the work of course, Starknet. Without Starknet, we wouldn't be able to run anything. So I think that, yeah, that's quite a useful improvement. Argent, which has been pioneering on the work of account abstractions since the Ethereum day, and Cartridge, which is the first production example of a WebAuthn authentication running on Starknet. So, well, thanks to all of those, and we'll keep building on top of what everybody does to create the best solution and the best platform to make crypto easier to use every day. We expect Ledger Fresh to be coming in end of Q1 2023. In the meantime, we'll be communicating it to developers. We'll be opening our GitHub. Anybody will be able to contribute either on plugins or on the wallet itself. So, well, please come build with us, and I will be available for any question. Thank you.
Much. Oh, we don't need a clicker anyway because we are wrapping up.
Woo!
It's the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I'd say it's very befitting to get to end day 2 with one of our Ledger co-founders. Very special to get to hear from Nico.
Cool. So we spent 2 hours together. You've literally seen all what our tech stack provides, how to build on each and every layer of them. And I can only invite you to come and speak with the teams. You know all of us now. We're all here to be here and discuss with you. So come join us at the Foyer Historique. And for those of you online, it doesn't stop here. We have developers.ledger.com. You can go and get all the content that you've seen today with the tech documentation, as well as our Discord server, where you can get in touch with our tech teams. And we have plenty of content and information as well there.
That's right. And we also have our cultural panels this afternoon starting at 1:30. So if you're watching online, get a little bit of lunch or breakfast or dinner wherever you are in the world. If you're here, do the same, and then come right back, get a seat. We'll start promptly at 1:30. In addition, as you see behind you, you can pre-order Ledger Stacks now, which is very exciting. And for those of you here and watching from afar, don't forget, follow Ledger on Twitter. You're going to get an opportunity to actually get a piece of Jen Stark's art. I hope if you understand over the last couple of days, we're so committed to developers, we're so committed to artists, and we're very grateful for your time with us over these last couple of days, and we'll see you at the next Ledger Open. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
And thank you to the team. Okay, thank you again to the team.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Nous, non, on parle plus. C'est des...